Hey friends, welcome to the Concierge Doc Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Jason Littleton, CEO and founder of Littleton Concierge Medicine. Welcome to the podcast. Today, we've got a great show, really an introduction to 2025. This is my first interview having a guest on. We're going to start rolling that out and having more guests, more expert guests that I want to introduce to you guys. And I want to start out with my first guest, Joe Mattern. He is a client and patient of mine, and I think he has a very interesting story of extreme obesity and his comeback tour when it comes to this. And I want to share this with you, and I know he's excited to share this with you. So let's get started. Let's jump into this. Let's go. Let's go. Now, as you guys always know, before I start any podcast, I always read this disclaimer so I can stay friends with my compliance team. Access to the information and materials contained in this podcast is at your own risk. The information contained is presented for the purpose of educating the consumer on a variety of wellness and healthcare topics. The information, nothing contained is intended to be instructional for medical diagnosis or treatment. The information contained is compiled from a variety of sources. The information should not be considered complete and exhaustive and should not be in place of a visit or consultation with your own primary care doctor. Like I always say, that's intuitive, that's instinctive, but it goes to be said. And look, I would love for you to come and see me personally, come make an appointment with me at Littleton Concierge Medicine. You can just go to my website, jasonmd.com, but it's important so that you guys have accurate assessment, diagnosis, and treatment. All right, so as we get going, I want to introduce my guest, client and patient and friend and brother in Christ, Joe Mattern. And welcome to the podcast, Joe. Thank you for coming on today.
Dr. Jason Littleton, it is an honor and a pleasure to be here and to be your first guest, brother. I am psyched. We're going to have a great podcast today.
Yeah, you know, you have an interesting story, of extreme obesity, and there's so much that goes into that. A lot of people, I think, around the world struggle with extreme obesity where they can't get out of their home. Yeah. They don't have anyone to take care of them, and they may not even have the ability to afford even a concierge doctor or the medical care that you have access to. But a lot of people struggle with this, and I think a lot of people who have who are overweight or weigh more than they want, and maybe they don't have extreme obesity, they struggle with just self-esteem, self-confidence, and they deal with anxiety and depression, all sorts of things. And so I wanted to talk with you about that, see, how you can speak to that. But first I want to start out with, at your heaviest, how much were you?
600 pounds.
600 pounds. And when was that?
It was 6 months ago.
6 months ago. And how much do you weigh now?
550 pounds. I've gotten 50 pounds off in the last six months, thanks to your help and a great medication that you helped me get.
I mean, that's a huge deal.
It is.
That's a huge deal. 50-pound weight loss.
It is.
Now, let me ask you this: at 600 pounds, when's the last time? Even now, when's the last time you were outside of your house?
Other than outside in my hot tub in my backyard, 4 years.
4 years. 4 years. That's got to be difficult.
It is.
And with that being said, what were some of the reasons why you could not get outside of the house?
One, to drive. I couldn't fit behind the steering wheel of my Escalade. My stomach was too big. The wheel was just locked down. Two, not having clothes to fit me. You got to be clothed to go outside. Three, just an inability to walk more than 20 feet at a time. And when I go out, I have to be out safely. I have the world's most amazing hot tub designed to hold 8 people, 88 jets, 500 gallons. That's how I get out, but that's on my back porch, and I have a fenced-in property. Aside from that, it's been social media, TikTok, Instagram, visits from you, the finest doctor on the planet. I'm very lucky to be
I didn't tell
your
him to say
Christian
that.
brother, your friend. I'm going to tell everyone you are the finest doctor on the planet. I know that to be true, and I'm so honored to have you as my physician.
I'll take it.
I'm the healthiest 550-pound man on the planet, thanks to you. And very soon it'll be 500. Then I'm back out, resuming my swimming journey.
My gosh, yeah, and you're a swimmer. That's one of the things
I am.
That's one of the things that you have used in the past to stay fit and healthy and to reduce weight, but you haven't been able to do that.
So let's talk about that for a moment. So behind Universal Studios in a lake called Lake Kane with a group of triathletes is an amazing man. You've met him because you were there with me at the lake swim for my 100th kilometer swim.
Yeah.
Dr. John Lucky Meisenheimer, who has truly touched my life. Okay. I swam in 3 years 221 kilometers. When we lay that out, Dr. Jason, that's driving distance from Tampa, Florida to Daytona,
Wow.
137 miles.
I mean, that's
And I'm
incredible.
going to continue that journey from 222 to 500 in April, and I'm all set to go.
That's just phenomenal. It's incredible. I think one of the biggest questions that are on my mind that I want my listeners to know about is, can you talk to us about at your darkest time? What was that? I mean, how much did you weigh? What was that? What did you feel?
Sure.
And then
Sure.
and then bring us out of it. How did you get out of that?
Sure. 600 pounds in bed under the covers. The most I could walk was to the bathroom and back. I had my iPhone. I had social media. How I got out in the world was through TikTok, seeing the world, connecting with friends, talking to you, getting in the Word, staying mentally strong. Failure is never an option, not ever. And slowly getting back. It's like how I did my lake swims. One day I went to the lake swim and I did my first swim. It was a bucket list item. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 100. You're there for my 100th kilometer anniversary, and we are where we are today. Small, tiny changes. Watching your podcast, staying positive, you being my doctor, taking your advice and guidance, but slow, steady, positive steps. That's how you work your way out.
Yeah, I always say little changes make a ton of difference, and
They do.
Did you ever struggle with suicidal ideation and things like that? Did you ever struggle? Was it ever that dark?
Never. Suicide is never an option. I never would allow it to be in my life. I'm mentally strong. I'm spiritually strong. And plus in my career, right early in my career, I worked as a paramedic. I was a mental health guardian advocate. I know how to handle people that have mental health. I would never, ever allow it. You just simply cannot allow it in your mind. It should never be an option, ever.
And that's, that's incredible. That's an amazing challenge. I mean, I think that, there are people out there that don't weigh 600 pounds. They might weigh 20, 30, 50 pounds overweight, right?
Right.
But sometimes people can just be in a very, very dark place. And here,
They can.
you're at the extreme side where you went from 600, now you're around 550. What would you say to those people who may not be in your situation, but are just feeling down and out and need that encouragement? Because I think people
Sure.
need to hear from you in that.
I think the answer is, Dr. G, is to have a good support system. Not only do I have the finest doctor in the world, I have the best friends in the world. I have a core group of friends that love me, care about me, come visit me, believe in me. They're my cheerleaders. They can look at my hashtag 500-pound CEO, hashtag SwimJoeSwim, and just watch, and they know I'm confidently going to get back to my journey and get back in that mode. The answer is a good support system. I can't do it alone. You're a part of a team, Dr. Jason. While you're my physician, I have someone who comes in as a part-time caregiver. And quite excitingly, in the last week, it's now my 5th day living alone. I have now a caretaker that comes in part-time. I can now take care of myself again. I can bathe myself. I can shave myself. I can make meals. I couldn't do that a year ago. And that alone is a victory that I'm very proud of. Small, steady, positive steps.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think one of the things that, and I'm still going down the same vein, when someone's overweight, there are people who can have poor self-esteem, right?
That's right.
You're someone who has a strong personality. You seem to have amazing self-esteem. But what about that person who doesn't? How do they deal with being overweight, being in public, and what could you say to that person?
Bring in a counselor, either secular, Christian, whatever you're comfortable with. Do it by FaceTime, do it by Zoom. Work with a counselor, even if you have to do it in your home by video, but have a professional there to help you, which is what I had many years ago when I rebuilt my self-esteem. I spent 10 years in a Christian counselor's office working through issues, and I suffered a lot of abuse in my life from a young age. Christian counseling made me the man I am today. Okay, learning to forgive, learning to properly process anger, learning to get in the Word and be strong in my faith, and all these things, but talking, right? Psychotherapy, getting it out. The best advice I can give is professional counseling. It will change your life.
Yeah, that's amazing. That needed to be said. And I think that people who are struggling with their self-esteem, being out in public, or just struggling with the whole thought process that they just don't know if they can possibly lose the weight. And I think that's a huge subset of people where they are overweight and they have given up on thinking that they could actually lose weight. I love what you said. Awesome Christian counseling can make a huge difference.
That's right.
What do you say to people who feel like they're never going to lose the weight? They feel like it's impossible. They feel like they've tried and tried and tried, and they're not losing weight. They're gaining weight, or they've just plateaued. They just, they're not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
I think the answer is they're going to lose it when they're ready. It has to be in their own time. And if they don't want to see a counselor or have any friends, they'll know when they've suffered enough physically, emotionally, and say, you know what, no more. I'm not going to let food control me. Now, let's look at me. My first year of obesity was when I was 9 years old.
Wow.
Okay. And I'm 59 years today. So this is my 50th year with obesity. I'm 6 foot tall. I'm 550 pounds. That's as of today. And I spent a majority of my life at about 420 pounds for about 15 years. But my first year of obesity was 9. I broke 200 pounds when I was 9 years old. And as a result, I'd be happy to be back at 420.
Wow.
I mean, 420 pounds at 6 foot tall. I can put on my shoes. I could put on a suit. I could fly on an airplane. Yeah, I need 2 seats. I mean, 737 has the tiny seats, but then I could get out and see the world. I was traveling. I was going out to California. I was driving, through LA and seeing friends and traveling on business. And yeah, I would be happy to be down to the 420, but my goals involve, when I'm out of the home, getting back into the pool. Advent Health Celebration, they're in Celebration, Florida. That's my pool. That's where I'll swim. Getting back in the lake. The lake is a safe place for me, Dr. Jason. Triathletes are some of the greatest people in the world. And while it's public, it's private in the fact that I have everyone there as my friend, and I'm very, very safe. People say, Joe, you're not afraid of alligators? And you know what I say? I say, listen, I'm bigger than any alligator that could be in that lake. They should be afraid of me.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
That's a whole nother change of perspective.
Yes, it is. If you came down the lake and you were there for my 100th kilometer with Lucky.
Yeah, but I didn't get in. And
no, you didn't. You didn't, but you were there and you came down at Celebration. You remember?
Yeah.
You gave Dr. Lucky Meisenheimer your book and he gave you his book. It was a very amazing day you shared together.
Yeah, next time I'll have to get in.
Absolutely.
Wow, that you said a lot. I think it's really going to make a difference and help people. Now, I want to talk about, when we talk about what you've experienced so far in your weight loss. You recently lost 50 pounds, which I just think is a huge deal. And
you were here at my home and we celebrated that together on the scale.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a victory. It really was right in my living room. I'm on the scale and we calculated the numbers and boom, it was a lot to be proud of. There's a lot more, but that's the first of many positive steps.
Yeah. What is your ultimate goal?
to live a long, happy, healthy life.
And what is your ultimate weight goal?
300 pounds.
Okay.
I could conquer the world at 300 pounds. Piece of cake.
Wow.
Absolutely. Then I'm going to Dubai in an Airbus A380, and I'm going up on top of the Burj Khalifa, because that's the big goal.
My God.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're going to have to write a book about this, because it's such, I mean, I've seen you for years, and it's such an inspirational journey.
So I have a little surprise for you.
Go ahead.
I started the book yesterday, and the book is going to be called, the book is going to be called Loved Beyond Measure. And I want to show you something. I have a little surprise. You ready?
All right.
Take a look at this. This is earned. This is not given. You see this?
Yeah.
This indicates that I have swam 200 kilometers in Lucky's Lake.
Wow.
This is the hardest thing I've ever had to earn in my life, and I'm very, very proud of it. And this, by the way, is a 5X shirt. And Lucky goes to me, he goes, Joe, I must really love you. It took me 6 months to find this shirt. It's really hard to find one of this size, but Joe, we're really proud of you. And that last, making it to 200 kilometers, I had a week to do it, and Lucky's like, wait, Joe, stop. I'm going to Las Vegas tomorrow on a dermatologist conference. Can you get it done today? And I'm like, excuse me? I'm like 5 kilometers in one day. Lucky, I've never done more than 2. He goes, I'll make you a deal. I'll let you here with your friend Danielle. You've got the whole day in the lake. Get it done. And Danielle and I spent from 6:30 in the morning till 3 o'clock in the lake. I get my 5th kilometer in. We're ringing the bell. We're celebrating. Hardest thing I ever do in my life. I worked my butt off for that shirt, and I'm very proud of it. And I want the world to see it. And the next shirt's going to say 500K, and I'll have that done in the next 2 years.
Man, that's amazing. That's incredible.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's such a motivator, I think. And it goes to be said, you have, one of the things, as your doctor that I see is that you always have things out in front of you to keep you motivated. And
I do.
One of the things that you said that I thought was really important is that when I asked you what your goal was, instead of you just saying, well, you want to be 250 pounds or 200 pounds or some numerical goal, you said to live a long, healthy life.
Yeah.
And I think as a doctor, you said it. That's the key.
It is.
So much I want people to focus on quality of life, and being motivated and being healthy, as opposed to being focused on a metric. Not that we're not focused on metrics, but you should ultimately be focused on being healthy, being well, accomplishing goals. And I think when you're accomplishing goals, those goals will pull you. It should motivate you, so to speak, to reaching certain metrics as far as things that matter, as far as like weight or cholesterol or.
And as my doctor, you know me well, right? You've done exams, we've seen my bloods, but between you and I, we know, other than my type 2 diabetes, which can be reversed, and I'm on Mounjaro right now, my vitals are great. I'm healthy. I mean, I've got a great shot. I reverse type 2. Then we get the weight down. I mean, my joints are great. My heart's great. My brain's great. I'll be good. But the point is, we're going to reverse that type 2 very, very soon. And the Mounjaro has done a great job. And Dr. Jason, you could probably quickly talk about the fact we fought with that, right, for a year. We fought the insurance company to get me that medicine. That's the 5th one we tried, and we never, ever quit. But we found one that worked, and it's doing a great job. We'll kick it up to the next level in January. More weight will come off. But it's been such a lifesaver. It really has been. And I'm really honored to not only have your care, but to finally have a medicine that works.
I mean, I'm just amazed by your journey. I think most importantly, I'm amazed by how motivated you are, your attitude, your self-esteem. You never let 600 pounds or not being out of your house for 4 years get to you and get you down. I think most people, I mean, it's a testament to how tough you are. I think most people could not have handled that. Most people could not have handled that.
Sure. But I agree. But I've also had you there on the phone to uplift me as well. If I've had a day where I've been a little off, I've said, hey, Dr. Jason, let's pray. Or can you stop over? And you have stopped over just to pray with me and give me a little visitation and things like that. Right. But then the other great things we share, right? when you went and got in a Cirrus aircraft and flew and worked on your flight training and got out in the world, because, you know, I'm the CEO of an aerospace company. That's what I do. And our passion's aviation. And seeing you fly with friends of mine and get up over Central Florida in a Cirrus SR-22 and having you send me a picture and say, hey, Joe, look, I'm flying. I'm like, Dr. Jason, I'm not going to be far behind you. I learned to fly an airplane when I was 12 years old. I'll be getting back to that one day soon. I can't wait. You know how much I love to fly, Dr. Jason.
Oh yeah, I do. First of all, that was such an amazing gift that you know, you blessed my life with, because I love to fly to a great extent, just like you. And and I talk about that in my book. You know, the Energize Again. What I like about what you just said and what I talked about in my book is about how the things that motivate us help us to make change. And, you know, like whether it's flying or swimming, for me, skiing, you can use that to make change. And I think you used your motivation, not only in aviation, but swimming, to make change. And along with your faith in Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, you were able to endure tough times and times where you didn't see weight coming off, and now weight is coming off, and now you're on the fast track.
That's right. And
soon you'll be out of your house.
Yeah, that's right.
You'll be back in the pool, back at the lake, back doing things that you haven't done in years. I want people to hear your testimony and to get over things that has been, you know, stuffing them up, keeping them at bay, keeping them at home, even though they can actually get out of the house on their own.
That's right.
And do things.
Yeah.
There are some people who are in prison in their house because of things that have nothing to do with weight.
That's right.
And hearing your testimony can help them to unlock the prison doors, so to speak. And
I remember you were the first one that I ever told I was going to write my first book, and that was last December. And if you recall, because I've done professional voiceover, I'm more comfortable on the mic than I am writing.
Yeah.
And I actually, in my hot tub, voiceovered with the trickling waterfall in the background, the entire 18 chapters of my first book called, and it's basically about, it's a story about surviving abuse and being loved. It's called I Am Loved. And then I expanded on that by starting back yesterday. So basically, the first book covered from the day I was born until present day. And this is going to be the start with the getting out and starting my journey. And I love to write. I love to voice over, but I love to inspire. I want to leave behind a legacy. And I think a book and or an audiobook is a great way to do that.
Yep. I would agree. Now,
and you know, I have a copy of your book that you've signed for me, and I read regularly because we talk about meds, right? MEDS. And believe me, you taught me, and I know it works. And same thing, last week's podcast, you're talking about self-care. I implemented those things in my life this last week. It's like my 5th day being totally alone on my own without care. I'm doing great. I have someone that comes in part-time, but I'm running my business as a CEO right from this office. I mean, I've got everything balanced out. It was one of the most incredible Christmases of my life. I mean, you know, you're in your home, it's quiet, you know, you can feel the Lord with you. I mean, I'm singing praise and worship music. I mean, I have a tree, I have presents, I'm talking to my friends all around the world. You know, video chat has been very, very powerful. And all those people are there and supportive. And it's just a matter of you reaching out. You want to have friends in person, you want to have video chat, just being social. We're social creatures. We really are.
Yeah, exactly. Man, it's just awesome hearing this. I mean, I've wanted people to hear your testimony for a long time. We've talked about this, and to be able to drop this off at the beginning of the year, I think, when everyone's thinking about fitness and weight loss and thinking about, you know, being a new you, this is a powerful, awesome testimony. And I want to ask you, what do you want people to know as they go into 2025 as far as health and their outlook and that they should have? What would you say to them?
It's a new beginning. Don't worry too much about the future. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the day. Stay strong. Just live every day to the fullest. Lucky Meisenheimer taught me that, right? As not only my dermatologist, but the person that runs the lake swim. Lucky just has this happy-go-lucky attitude. You know, Dr. Jason, he has on a given day like 200 people on his property at the lake. He loves being around people, letting people be people, but he just takes life, he grabs it and lives life to the fullest. And as a mentor of mine, that's what I've learned. Enjoy the moment. Don't concentrate too much on the past, but also don't concentrate too much on the future. Enjoy the moment, have daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, but just enjoy the moment because life is beautiful. It truly is.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I mean, that's a great thing to say. I love that you said that. I got to have you back on the show.
I'd be honored. I'm having a ball. This is just great. You and I planned this for a very, very long time, and I can't wait to the day where I'm out and driving, then I'm coming over to your studio, and we'll be side by side. We'll be doing this together. I look forward to that day very soon. Yeah. That's what.
Yeah. We're gonna definitely do this again. Listen, guys. Joe's testimony is powerful, and I think you have to take what he said and use him as an example wherever you're at. Whether you're dealing with weight loss or you're dealing with depression or anxiety or you're dealing with something else that's in your way, having a support system, Christian counseling, being able to have access to like a concierge doctor like myself, that's important. That's important. I understand, having access to a concierge doctor, maybe everyone might not have that access, but your own primary care doctor or health provider can make a huge difference in your life as well. Of course, I would love to see you at Littleton Concierge Medicine too. That's something that I would love to do. Now, I think that this should motivate you as you go into 2025. It should motivate you. It should cause you to be like, no matter what the issue is, I can have a positive attitude. I can have goals that motivate me to go forward. I can make little changes that make a ton of difference. I can do these things that can carry me through to live healthy and be well. And I will get to my goal no matter how dark things seem. And I think these are the takeaways that you should have from his testimony. As I always say, please follow my podcast. Know my handles, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Amazon, Audible. Look at all these handles. Take a listen to the weekly podcast and continue to follow me. Each week as we bring more content with you. And this year we're bringing just expert guests, just like we started off today to you. I can't wait to see you next time. Talk to you guys later. Thank you.